Welcome to the research portion of our show, and with us today is Ralph Turchiano. Ralph?
And thank you for the intro. Well, looks like vitamin E is back in the news again, but in ways you would not normally expect. A while ago, they were really bad-mouthing vitamin E, the major media, but why are they not talking about it positively now? Well, here's some interesting studies. Out of Oregon State University, published in Nutrition Review. Remember, I tend to only deal with published news articles or published scientific articles. Women taking vitamin E had 24% fewer deaths from heart disease. Vitamin E's protective effect appeared even stronger in women over 65. It reduced their heart disease down by 26%, but even more astounding, it reduced cardiovascular deaths down by 49%. That should be national news. That's massive impact, and that's how you lower your health care expenditures. On top of that, the National Review Board set the upper limit, safety limit of vitamin E at 1,500 IUs. Reason not any higher because it begins to block a little bit of that vitamin K utilization in the body. Sounds like a little like Coumadin, but maybe the medical establishment moved to vitamin E instead of Coumadin or warfarin or rat poison, whatever you want to call it, would have a little bit better effect. Vitamin E again. This time in a way that you may not think of, rectally. Why? For moderate ulcerative colitis. This is what happened. When administering vitamin E through the other end, what they discovered was basically, and this was published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology too, this came out October 21st, they took 15 people after 12 weeks of administering vitamin E the other way. They found 9 of the 15 went into total clinical remission. Everyone got benefit. The benefits began to start showing for all 15 after 15 weeks. Or should I apologize, 12 weeks. And the reason they believe is because vitamin E's antioxidant ability to reduce the inflammation down in the intestinal tract very effectively, enough to knock it into clinical remission. That's pretty incredible, and the Mayo Clinic is the one that ran the test itself. Pretty phenomenal for vitamin E. Something that has to be looked at again. And this is one for fibromyalgia. You know what doctors often tell you? It's maybe depression or social isolation that causes the fibromyalgia. That's all in your head. Well, the part right. But it's not depression, it's not social isolation, and it's not anxiety. It is in your head. They discovered that basically there's brain perfusion abnormalities. They could not find out why people with fibromyalgia complained of chronic pain like arthritis with inflammation and all these other symptoms and muscle pain and you name it, without any inflammation. Well, it's not in the joints, it's not in the muscle. They do believe it's in the brain. They discovered the greater the brain perfusion, the greater the results of the fibromyalgia itself. Basically, they said too, fibromyalgia may be related to a global dysfunction of cerebral pain processing, not found in healthy subjects or people without fibromyalgia. That's groundbreaking. A lot of people being treated the wrong way with anti-inflammatories and things like that. It's not that. It is in the head. They have to look at it a little bit more. Also now another one, in regards to Alzheimer's, another incredible what appears to be almost like a miracle cure. This is with a vitamin B3 derivative called nicotinamide. What the researchers at the University of Irvine discovered, when given animals which had plaque or this tau, this protein buildup in the brain, they gave them the equivalent of about 2 to 3 grams of nicotinamide or vitamin B3 form. Basically, they said this, cognitively, they were cured. Again, in the Journal of Neuroscience. They performed as if they never developed the disease. 2 to 3 grams of nicotinamide, a B3 derivative. That was phenomenal. They said also this, quote, the vitamin appears to work by clearing tangles of a protein known as tau in the brain cells. In Alzheimer's disease, the protein becomes poisonous and contributes to dangerous clogging in the brain cells. And this said all this done for less than $30 a month. Pretty phenomenal. Not national news, but you'll hear it over here. Another thing in regards to allergies. This one will go a little bit backwards. Allergies are bad. Now remember, this is not asthma, this is allergies. In the December issue of the Quarterly Review of Biology, they said, out of Cornell University, that allergy symptoms may protect against cancer by expelling foreign particles, some of which may be carcinogenic or carry absorbed carcinogens from the organs they likely to come in contact with. Medical research have long discussed an association between allergies and cancer. So they said, so if allergies are part of the body's defense against foreign particle invaders, is it wise to use antihistamines and other suppressants? Really interesting consideration. They have to do more review. Next question is this. This has to do with preemption, and this goes before the Supreme Court. What would you do if you realize your drug manufacturer is not held liable for lying about the results of their medications? Well, it's ahead of the Supreme Court, and this is what happened. It's called this. The FDA's approval of drugs absolves companies of any responsibility if that drug later turns out to be dangerous, even if the information was concealed from the FDA during the approval process itself. Again, preemption. They use an example of Johnson & Johnson. 1996, they came out with the birth control patch. They sold it by selling it required less estrogen than basically birth control pills did. They found out that they ended up lying completely. Instead, what they use is a correction factor. Their correction factor on page 425 report of the scientific article from Johnson & Johnson basically just messed with the math. As a result, Johnson & Johnson was saying, well, the FDA approved it, therefore you have no lawsuit. And thank you very much. That's the end of this segment.
Thank you very much, Ralph. We appreciate your information. Once again, we hope that the various segments of our show will encourage you to further research all of these topic matters. Thanks again.